Scorpio, the month begins with a lot of intensity for you guys because you're going to have Mars in your first house opposing Uranus. Mars is your ruling planet, but Mars is in its domicile, so it is a strong Mars. But it is possible that you find yourself in conflict around finances with your relationships as Uranus is in your eighth house. So there could be some sudden disruptive financial upset or causes to have to make some adjustments and take some sort of action and perhaps protect your finances. Perhaps there's a tax issue coming up. However, however, this shows up as a crisis, an action point. It all works out in your favor. Something opens up. You bust through some sort of fear. Transformational fear is released in all of this, and you become in alignment through this experience as it is a part of the grand water trine, which is blessing all your dharma houses, which is your calling, which is your first, your ninth, and your fifth. So there's this beautiful sort of breakthrough that then really helps you either find some sort of renewed confidence to step boldly forward into your dharma and follow a calling, a higher path. And it involves your fifth and ninth houses as well, which involves higher consciousness, teaching, learning. And fifth house is collaborative relationships that bring you blessings and help you stabilize your future for the long haul because it involves Saturn, which means anything that's happening now is going to, and it is making a trine to Jupiter, is going to create a lot of stability for you. So there is blessings in disguise through this transit. And you're going to be experiencing the sun opposing Uranus in your first house too later in the month on the 20th. And that could bring this sort of repeat theme going for you for a while. But the new moon at the end of the month in your first house brings a new opportunity, which does again oppose Uranus, which brings a surprising new beginning that blesses and puts you onto liberates you and puts you on your true calling, your true path, your destiny and purpose. So let's go to the full moon in Taurus, which is in your eighth, in your seventh house of relationships. So let's get the moon there. It is happening on the 5th, and it is at 13 degrees of Taurus in your relationship house. So, and this is a very nice full moon. So some wonderful result comes through relationships, abundant results from plants that you seeded in a relationship, perhaps a year in May in the Taurus new moon, or the year before that in May on the Taurus new moon. And now you're seeing some beautiful results come via a partnership relationship. This could be the realization of a relationship that needs to end because this is involving Uranus is, opposing your first house. So there could be Uranus is going to move into your seventh house here too, a few days later. On the 8th. So this might be a surprising ending to a relationship or the surprising realization of who your true person is. And this comes into reality field. It is the relationship comes to fruition. You may have set a boundary, and this is someone from your past, because don't forget, Mercury is going to go into retrograde here on the 9th. Then Jupiter goes to retrograde on the 11th or 10th, depending on where you are. So this really does look to me like a full moon that brings in a past life connection or a past relationship or partnership or business partnership agreement that does give you some sort of a financial long-term support. And this is a good relationship, partnership, which will probably last a good 29 years. Anything that happens here with Saturn in the picture, trining Jupiter, is aligning us for a solid, stable future. So now with Mercury retrograde in your second, maybe perhaps a financial venture in the past or financial opportunities from the past come back to re-examine, or you are given a inheritance with that full moon perhaps, and your finances, some sort of redo in your finance house, a rebelief in yourself in something, your dharma, so that then takes you back to a past project that you dropped because you didn't believe in it. You now pick it back up, and it is now really in alignment. It's making a nice, it's happening while Jupiter is trining Saturn and ruling this house for you. So people can show up from the past here and bring you abundance, which is not bad at all. Or there could be conflicts involved because remember, there's this Uranian opposition, but like I say, something beautiful opens up and starts to flow in your favor. So Mercury, Jupiter retrograde in your ninth house is integrating some teachings and things that you have learned in the past. I would say 5 years since Jupiter and Saturn were conjoining, where we all initiated these independent paths. So you're going to be drawing in on things that you've learned, and they're really showing up for you in the entire time that Jupiter is retrograde in your ninth house up until March of 2026, drawing from things that you've learned, and you've really learned a lot. You may not have realized you've learned this much, but it's bring you blessings and long-term financial gain and stability. All right, so here's the new moon in Scorpio, and this is another moment where we have this sort of perhaps a upset or climax or crisis in action point with this new moon. New moons can be pretty volatile, I find, but with Mercury in retrograde, with the Uranus in your seventh house, this could be a surprising new start to a connection from the past, a reconciliation energy. And you really work through some fears in this relationship so you're able to go forward. This is a very transformative new moon. It's a new moon where it's a new version of you. You begin a new version of you where you're more in your power. And it's making, again, a connection to the grand water trine. So this is a good new moon, other than that there may be a conflict or ending of a connection that is not, you suddenly have the strength to end a relationship or set a boundary and be firm. And then however this plays out, it does bring you a solid long-term relationship that most likely is around a 29-year committed situation, because Saturn is in your fifth house, where you are learning about the sort of relationships you want to commit to. What are your true friends? What are false friends, etc. So then Saturn is going to move into your sixth house in January, but it's going to move direct in your fifth house at the end of the month on the 28th. And then really going to see a lot of momentum develop in some kind of joint resources, partnership agreements, clearing karma. You're going to practice this time you play out your karma in a new way. You release your karma. You're really more empowered now from that new moon. So you've set strong boundaries. And again, these could be business relationships. If you're already married, there's a business that, or in your dynamic in your connection, you've really pulled your power back. There may have been some sort of toxic connection dynamic in your relationship that you now have cleared and healed. And it can be a true divine partnership in marriage. We can go through transformations in those relationships. But something really now goes forward in a joint, either collaborative venture, you're clearing karma in your patterns. So a steady, strong relationship looks like it could take momentum, and either if you're in one, it really stabilizes. It's either a new one, someone from the past coming back, and you've cleared your low self-worth, and you've set strong boundaries, and you've loved yourself, and you're now reflecting someone who's completely ready to commit from the past, or the relationship you're currently in is taking shape and restored to a balance where you are more empowered in the connection. Now, the third option is that you do meet somebody, and sometimes Mercury retrograde can bring a past life connection. Not great to start a relationship in a retrograde. However, if it is your true past life connection, then it doesn't matter. So that is it for you for the month of November. Have a wonderful month. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. If you would like a personal reading, feel free to visit my website, soullevels.com. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.